So here we are on a brand new job, just starting it out. This was day 2 on it, which was today, which was Tuesday. Y'all be watching this on Wednesday. So 2 days running on it. Monday, you'll hear at the end of this video, we struggled real bad. We started off with the processor being broke down. I'll tell all about that while we're watching Kevin run. But you can see this swath that Derek has cut out right here. Got asked by a guy the other day that was from up in Canada about how we cut and why we cut, the way that we cut. And a lot of these jobs like this, especially this one right here, we have to cut them a certain way. And sometimes we're not able to cut them the way that we want to. We have to cut them the way that we are required to cut them. Now you see this one right here, this is just absolutely beautiful, the way that's cut right there, the way Derek is just scalped that out right there. This job is going to be a good bit different. It's not a very big job. It's not going to be a high number job today that I filmed this right here. I did load 19 loads this day, but I don't think you'll see us cranking out the real high numbers on this one like what some of the jobs we are. When we get up here, you can see right here we're flying over. This on the right here is relatively thick. But now when we make a left up here, check out how thin these trees are. You can actually see through them. And when this track was thin, I have no idea who thinned it, but they cut it way too thin when it was initially thin. I mean, look at the trees right there. That's more like something you'd see in a state park, not something you would like to see on a logging job, because it's just a little bit too open in there. But you can see here we've cut another place out right here, and actually if you look right there, you'll see our 726 sitting right there, our rubber tire cutter right there. This job here is a little bit different. After I may kind of go into details a little bit on kind of why things are working the way they are here on this one, but you can kind of stay tuned here and listen to the rest of this. I'm talking as we're watching Kevin run here, but this we won't be here long on this one. We'll hit it and be moving on to something else. Just thank God it's not raining as much as what it has been the last few weeks. Y'all enjoy the rest of this video right here. Today has been interesting to say the least. We started out this morning with Kevin's processor broke down. Well, it wasn't necessarily broke down. There was two injectors came loose on that motor. That's a tier 2 in that machine. So we're gonna go ahead and swap them all 6 out when we done it. And there was 2 that were stuck that would not come out. No matter what the mechanic from Stribling did, he could not get them to come out. So he came back Saturday and pulled the head off the engine and got them out, knocked them out from the bottom side of the head. And then when he put it back together, it ended up having the wrong valve cover gasket on it, and it wouldn't seal. It was leaking oil out of it really bad, the engine oil out of it. So he came back this morning and threw the right valve cover gasket up under it. We got it back going, and there a little bit, there's the the oil feed line that comes off the top of the oil filter, the engine oil filter that feeds the bearing on the turbo, because of messing with it and all that stuff like that, it sprung a leak because they had to take it off to get it out of the way and all that good stuff like that. And there's a lot of heat on that thing too, so it sprung a leak. So then we had to shut the machine down again because it was putting motor oil right on top of the turbo, and that's not a good idea, people. It's not a good idea. So we stopped it. Dad got a run, grabbed the line for us from Stribling right quick. Kevin and I stuck it on, and then we also changed a couple hydraulic lines this morning up there on the boom of that thing, where we had to get up on the top of the bulldozer to do that. So boy, we struggled bad this morning getting going. We finally got going, and I finally loaded a round of trucks. We only loaded one round a day, loaded them after lunch. So last week when we were finishing the job in the swamp down there, when it all went underwater, we didn't work but a day. We worked one day and we got 18 loads, and then we finished the job up on Friday, and I loaded I think it was 3 or 4 loads on Friday. I can't remember now, all my days are running together. So we went from getting 100 loads a week 7 weeks in a row to the very next week of not even loading 25 loads, and then starting this week off then with being broke down till basically nearly lunch before I loaded some trucks a day. So we're about to wrap the day up and call it quits. But that line in the very first part of this video, that line that you've seen me touch and looking at, that's the line that feeds the oil to the turbo bearing there. That's the one that Kevin and I replaced. I didn't film any of it, and because I just didn't have time to set a camera up or nothing like that. And it was we had trouble with the fittings on it too. They were very aggravating. Both the fittings tried to come, the fitting tried to come out of the turbo, and the fitting did come out of the oil filter base too. That was pretty frustrating to deal with, because the one on the oil filter, you can't hardly get to the stupid thing where it is. It's straight down in there, and it's difficult to get to on that machine right there. But we got her all going. Just those tier 2s, we've had a lot of trouble with those over the years with injectors and stuff wanting to come out, especially on that processor for some reason. I don't know what the deal is with that processor and the injectors in that thing. And we've actually had them blow, you know, every time the piston comes on top, it'll be pushing the injector out a little bit, and it'll be, the engine will be missing. That's how you know it's doing it. It'll start missing on you. So this is a little bit different track too here. There's going to be a lot of pulp on this track, be a good bit of that. And this is kind of a, I'm not really sure what you would call this track. If it's a cleanup track or what, but it's not like 30 acres, so we won't be here long if we can just get the process. Nah, well, go ahead and be working your way on out there. We'll be all right in the morning there, what we got to kind of start on once we get going. Yeah, that's what Kevin's talking about.
I think we got one of the good looking stuff this small, you know.
Yeah, there's something going on with this track for him to cut this one right here. I ain't really sure. To those of you who are wondering, we don't buy any timber. There's a lot of y'all who know how we do it. We don't buy any timber. We cut for a company that owns the property here, and so we just put it in the mill for them. That's what we do. Dad's actually on the 635 right now. Chad had to leave a little bit ago to go on in. He had something else going on. So Dad's on the 635 right now, pulling a few drags to Kevin. I've got to go look at a tree job here on the way in too and check it out, see the ins and outs on it. So I need to mention Jay. I had quite a few people in today's video ask me about Jay, an update or anything like that. And a lot of times in these videos, you'll have somebody will say something in the comments, and then there'll be sometimes as many as 10 or 15 more people say or ask the same thing because they read old so-and-so's comment. I call it comment steering is what I call it. But anyhow, I talked to Jay this morning. I called and talked to him. He is doing better. He has got a long way to go still very, very sore. That happened in September. And I know somebody's going to hear this and they're going to ask, well, what happened to Jay? Just go back and look a few videos back. And there's several videos that tell all about it. But anyhow, he is going into where he works. He's not pulling any wrenches or doing anything like that. He's going in and he's just kind of motivating the guys that are there to get them to do stuff and everything. So it's still going to be a while before y'all see him back on our job. I don't imagine we'll see him back on our job till probably after the first of the year or so, maybe something like that or longer. His biggest problem right now is his nose. It crushed his nose, and he's basically only got one side of his nose open. And so he told me today, he said if he's going to have it fixed, he's going to have it fixed now while he is, while he's off and down and everything. So he goes back to the doctor before Thanksgiving in this month. And so we'll see then. So, he's on the mend. It's just going to take him a while to come back around because, he had a very traumatic injury. So, appreciate all y'all watching the video and all this stuff. This track right here, like I stated a couple times in the video, is going to be it's a little bit different track for a lot of different reasons. I'll talk about it later on after Thursday is over with. So, we shall catch y'all later. Later, taters.